According to the 2023 Homelessness Assessment Report, Oregon saw a staggering 15% increase in its homeless population, reaching a total of 97,142 individuals. This represents a 60% increase since 2013 and indicates a troubling trend. In 2023, Oregon ranked 6th in the nation for the total number of people experiencing homelessness. This signifies a 30% increase compared to just 4 years prior. According to the 2022 point-in-time count by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Oregon has the 9th highest percentage of unsheltered homeless people in the nation. Over half, 51.9%, live unsheltered, representing a 15% increase since 2020 and highlighting a worsening trend. Multnomah County, which includes Portland, is particularly affected. A 2023 report by Multnomah County estimates a staggering 51,475 people experiencing homelessness on any given night, with nearly 60% unsheltered. This translates to roughly 35,085 people living on the streets, in cars, or in other precarious situations. According to World Population Review's 2024 estimates, Oregon has an estimated 21,371 chronically homeless individuals out of its total homeless population. This means roughly 22% of Oregon's homeless population falls under the category of chronic homelessness. In 2018, Oregon had 8,158 chronically homeless individuals, which was 11% of the state's homeless population at that time. This suggests a possible increase in the number of chronically homeless people in recent years. According to the Oregon Office of Homeless Youth, youth homelessness is a significant concern, with nearly 19,000 unaccompanied youth between the ages of 12 and 24 experiencing homelessness annually. Oregon ranks high in refugee resettlement, welcoming thousands annually. Federal support for these families ends after a few months, placing a strain on already limited affordable housing options. Asylum seekers frequently endure extended waiting periods for case decisions, facing restrictions on employment and benefits that can lead to housing instability and financial insecurity, increasing their risk of homelessness. According to the Pew Research Center, Oregon's undocumented immigrant population was estimated at around 469,700 in 2021. This figure represents roughly 11% of the state's total population, placing it among the states with the highest percentages of undocumented residents. This number has grown considerably over time. Pew data shows that Oregon had only 9,000 undocumented immigrants in 1990, with a substantial increase to 120,000 by 2005. Cost of homelessness in Oregon. Oregon has begun to address homelessness through various programs. The 2023-24 budget allocated over $2 billion for housing and homelessness initiatives. This funding supports permanent supportive housing, which combines stable accommodation with social services. The 2021-22 state budget dedicated $1.5 billion to homelessness initiatives. However, questions arise about effectiveness. Dividing this sum by the estimated homeless population at that time, about 97,142, yields a cost of nearly $35,000 per person. The Oregon Interagency Council on Homelessness revealed that between 2018 and 2021, the state spent $4.6 billion with limited success. There's also the cost of inaction. Estimates suggest that ending homelessness in Oregon by 2035 could require an investment of $30 billion over a dozen years. Finding $27 billion annually requires a unified political will and innovative funding strategies. Oregon has spent a stunning $5.5 billion trying to combat homelessness over just 4 years. Nearly $3.8 billion went to local governments to spend on anti-homelessness initiatives. $1.7 billion went to various homeless programs, which also funds local governments. Additionally, the billions of dollars allocated by Portland, Eugene, and Salem represent a substantial effort to combat a complex issue. While the exact figures may vary, each city dedicates substantial resources, exceeding $1 billion annually in Portland and Eugene, and reaching hundreds of millions in Salem, to tackle this complex issue. These funds address a wide range of needs, from providing basic necessities like food and sanitation, Demographics of homelessness in Oregon. Black Oregonians experience the most pronounced disparities in homelessness. Despite making up only about 4% of the state's population, they constituted over 20% of those seeking help from homeless service providers during the 2022-23 fiscal year. Latinx Oregonians are another significantly affected group. The increase in Latinx homelessness is particularly alarming. Between 2020 and 2022, the number of unhoused Latinx Oregonians rose by a significant 30%, compared to a 15% increase for the total homeless population, according to the 2023 point-in-time count. An astounding 44% of those experiencing homelessness identify as Latinx. Conversely, white and Asian American Oregonians are underrepresented in the homeless population. Data suggests that white homelessness in Oregon might be around 16%. Single adults make up the vast majority of the homeless population, constituting roughly 80%. Families with children represent around 14%. Highlighting the vulnerability of young people in these circumstances. Youths experiencing homelessness on their own, often referred to as unaccompanied youth, account for the remaining 7%. Age is another critical factor. Over 40% of homeless individuals in adult-only households are over 50 years old. This demographic may face financial and medical emergencies later in life, leaving them with limited support systems and social safety nets. Here's a list of the 3 most homeless cities in Oregon. 3. Eugene. In 2022, Lane County conducted its PIT count, revealing a concerning reality for Eugene. 17,051 individuals are grappling with homelessness, marking a troubling 23% increase since 2017. Over 9,750 people live without shelter in streets or makeshift accommodations. Notably, Eugene boasts the nation's highest homelessness rate at 958 per 10,000 residents, a figure that has risen by 32% over the past 5 years. Adding complexity to the issue, many homeless families in Eugene hail from countries beset by political upheaval and economic collapse. Escaping dire circumstances, these families undertake perilous journeys, often arriving with little more than the clothes on their backs. The Pew Research Center estimates Eugene's undocumented immigrant population reached approximately 20,000 in 2022, constituting about 11.26% of the state's total residents. A surge in migrants has undeniably strained already stretched resources for the homeless. With shelters overflowing and wait times for permanent housing growing longer, there's a worry that established homeless residents might be lost in the shuffle to help the newcomers. 2. Salem. Salem is confronting a formidable and escalating challenge with its homeless population, according to the 2023 point-in-time count. A staggering 19,390 individuals were identified as homeless in Salem. This figure represents a troubling 16% increase from the previous year, underscoring the urgent need for comprehensive solutions to address this complex issue. The PIT count provides insight into the composition of Salem's homeless community. Of the total 21,390 individuals, over half, 8,035, found shelter primarily in emergency shelters or transitional housing. However, the remaining 10,155 individuals were unsheltered, residing on the streets, in vehicles, or in other precarious conditions. Men constitute a majority of Salem's homeless population, making up 61% of the total count. This gender disparity is particularly notable among those who are unsheltered, with nearly 43% of men compared to 34% of women enduring life outdoors. While single adults make up the largest demographic group at approximately 77%, there is a concerning rise in homelessness among families. The 2023 count revealed that 30% of homeless households in Salem include children, highlighting the acute strain on vulnerable families. 1. Portland. Based on the latest PIT count, Portland's homeless population stands at approximately 29,000. This includes 21,178 individuals living on the streets without shelter, and 7,173 people in emergency shelters or transitional housing. This figure highlights a concerning trend, reflecting Oregon's overall increase in homelessness. which mirrors national data showing over 2 million people experiencing homelessness across the U.S. The 2023 AHAR report indicates a notable rise in homelessness among Hispanic and Latino individuals in Portland, suggesting a potential link with migration patterns. Recent studies hint at a connection between increased homelessness and the influx of migrants to Portland. According to the Portland Family Foundation, an estimated 84,342 immigrants reside in the city, hailing from diverse countries. These migrants encounter various challenges that heighten their vulnerability to homelessness. Poverty in Oregon. Oregon's poverty rate hovered around 17.1% in 2022. This translates to roughly 1 in 8 Oregonians living below the federal poverty line. While this might seem like a relatively small percentage, it represents a substantial number of people facing hardship. Data from 2018 paints a starker picture, with estimates suggesting over 542,000 Oregonians, including 134,000 children living in poverty. Imagine a family of 4 trying to survive on an annual income of $26,500. The poverty guideline for 2023. With housing costs rising rapidly, affording a decent place to live becomes a challenge, leaving many families in overcrowded or substandard conditions. In rural areas, the situation is often more acute. Malheur County, for example, grapples with a poverty rate exceeding 20%. Several factors contribute to Oregon's persistent poverty problem. The high cost of living, particularly housing and childcare. One of the biggest contributors to Oregon's high cost of living is housing. The state's housing market, especially in popular areas like Portland, boasts prices well above the national average. According to Rent Cafe, housing costs in Oregon are 22% higher than the national average. For renters, the situation is no better. Renting an apartment in Oregon can be significantly more expensive than in many other parts of the country. For instance, a one-bedroom apartment in Portland can easily exceed $1,500 per month, while the national average sits around $1,000. Beyond housing, everyday expenses also contribute to Oregon's high cost of living, while not as dramatic as housing. Groceries and other necessities tend to be slightly pricier in Oregon compared to the national average. Rent Cafe estimates that groceries cost roughly 5% more in Oregon than the national average. This seemingly small increase can add up significantly over time, impacting household budgets. Additionally, Oregon has a relatively high state income tax, with the top marginal tax rate reaching 9.9%. This can take a significant bite out of a paycheck, further straining budgets. The cost of living in Oregon sits above the national average, placing it consistently among the top 10 most expensive states to live in. Story of a homeless woman. The concrete jungle of Oregon Street has been the only constant companion 29-year-old Sarah has known for nearly 3 decades. Born into homelessness, the unforgiving elements have become a harsh cradle. The roar of traffic is a lullaby. Her days are a relentless scramble for survival, finding scraps of food, a sheltered corner for a precarious sleep, dodging the indifferent gaze of passers-by. The physical toll is evident. Hunger gnaws at her insides, a constant reminder of scarcity. The relentless sun beats down, scorching her skin, while nights offer only a frigid embrace. Rain turns into a bone-deep chill, soaking through threadbare clothes that offer scant protection. Illness, a constant threat on the streets, finds easy prey in a weakened body. Beyond the physical suffering lies an emotional abyss. Loneliness is a suffocating weight. Human connection is a fleeting luxury, replaced by a wary distrust. The world seems a blur of hurried footsteps and averted eyes. The laughter and warmth emanating from brightly lit windows only amplifies the isolation. The reasons that led Sarah to the streets are likely a tangled mess. A broken family, a mental health issue, or a devastating accident. But on Oregon Street, labels fade away. She is simply another face lost in the ever-growing throng of the homeless. Yet within her resides a flicker of resilience. A stubborn refusal to be extinguished. The human spirit, even battered by hardship, yearns for a sliver of hope. Perhaps a kind word, a warm meal, or a chance encounter that might offer a path out of this desolate existence. Sarah's story is not unique. It echoes in the desperate pleas of countless others trapped in the unforgiving cycle of homelessness. It is a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities woven into the fabric of our society. A call to compassion and action.